6:07. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, and we're going to open up right away for public input. Does anyone have anything at this time? All right, I'm going to go ahead and move forward in essence of time. We'll add extra time to the end if need be. We will go over the responses to public input questions from the meeting on 6/10/2026. What is the result of the committee meeting about the bus driver wages? Unfortunately, we were unable to provide a pay raise for anyone that was not part of the teacher's contract. What policy states the board may not suspend, may not respond to public input during the meetings? Do we have that? We pulled that policy up at the end of last meeting. I don't remember what it was though. We will get that policy attached to the public input questions on the website. Will there be a request to offset the overspent stud line from the trust fund so that the unreserved fund balance can fund the warrant articles? I don't think there was anything that could come. I think we just pulled from the trust fund, correct? Do you know the answer to that question? I'm like, there's no response to it from us, so. All right, we will get that and I'll get that posted. And then what does the board plan to do if the bus drivers leave? I mean, we would post positions and try to hire new bus drivers. Okay, agenda review. Does anyone have anything that they need to add to the meeting? I am adding meeting minutes from May 26th. The special meeting on June 18th, and then the non-public meeting on 7/28. Those are all in your packet. I apologize guys, I did not put those out until today, so if you can look those over and see if those will be able to be approved, it would be great. Anyone else need to add anything? Do we have any non-public for tonight? I would like to move into non-public at the end of the meeting just for a quick touch point after our non-public meeting from July, which is about legal. All right, moving into acceptance of minutes. June 10th, 2026 was listed on our agenda already, and then the other ones that I just stated. So I will take a motion for each one once you guys are ready.
I will make a motion to approve the minutes from June 10th.
As written.
As written.
Do I have a second?
I'll
All in favor?
second that. Aye.
Aye. I'm sorry, I believe the second was Sierra. Do you want to go with the shortest meeting minutes first? 7/28/26 was from the non-public. Sorry, the new ones are really long.
I'll make a motion for the meeting minutes 7/28/26 as written. Second motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Meeting minutes from 6/18, that was the special childcare meeting.
I'll make a motion to accept the 6/18 meeting minutes as written. I'll second.
All in favor? And then meeting minutes from the special meeting for Champions Child Care on May 26th.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes from May 26th as written. I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So I was not at that one, so can I abstain? Yes, thank you.
Perfect. Moving into the superintendent's report.
You can use this if you want, I can use that one.
Well, first of all, just to start off, I know I don't want to, go off script here, but I did want to thank you all for having us in tonight. My name, for those who haven't met, my name is Scott Liberty. I'm the interim superintendent of schools for the Governor Wentworth District and for Middleton as well. For those who aren't aware, Dr. Arakelian secured another position late in the school year and has moved on to that position. And Governor Wentworth District decided not to try to conduct the search so late in the school year. So they contacted me. I'm a retired school superintendent with 36 years experience and a lot of time on the water. So hopefully I can come in and help out the process for this year. We're looking forward to a nice productive year. I know we have some challenges to overcome, but confident that we can take those on and still take care of the needs of our students. So I want to thank you all for the opportunity and looking forward to a great year. With that, I will hand the microphone over to Ivy.
Thank you so much. It's been a busy summer at MES. I have a couple of highlights I want to share. First of all, we had a generous donation of $1,500 from the Ann Waller Foundation in order to get playground appropriate mulch for our playground. I've been working in collaboration with the PTA to ensure that we will have a community day to revitalize the playground, to provide some labor and some work based on that donation. I know this is going to be a discussion item later on. I just wanted to say thank you to the Ann Waller Foundation for that donation so that we can afford the playground mulch. In addition, I will share that MES has applied for a grant from Walmart for metal picnic tables to include on the playground, and my fingers are crossed that that will come through. I also wanted to thank our Packet House PTA for working with Middleton Building Supply this summer for the donation of 2 new picnic tables for the outdoor space in the courtyard that's just behind this wall here. This was facilitated by Keith Tyrion, and it replaces the ancient and incredibly unsafe picnic tables that were out there. And we are excited to be able to have that be more usable space as well. So thank you so much. For hiring updates, I wanted to announce that we have 2 incredible new pair of hires for this school year, Monique Quintal and Jacqueline Kelly. We've also filled our part-time custodial position with Colton Richings, who is an MES alum, and he has hit the ground running. He just completed his first week and a half with us. I've also been able to hire a few more substitute teachers for the summer, including one of the parents that we had last year who had left us. She would like to be back part-time as a sub in our building. I do want to brag for a minute about our staff, and we have a couple of them here tonight. Our staff engaged in a good deal of grant-funded professional development this summer. 5 of my staff have received OGAP training in math this summer, which is a 4-day course that supports teachers' ongoing training to support math instruction. That combined with staff who have taken classes that were grant-funded in special education, IMSE, and responsive classroom has saved our district over $10,000 in professional development funds. In addition, these trainings are engaged in voluntarily using their own time, which defers the cost of a substitute teacher. So I'm really thankful for the extra effort my staff have gone to this summer. And I'm really excited for that real focus on math. MES is now whole school Title I. This is possible due to the hard work of our grants manager at Governor Wentworth, who I work closely with to ensure that we're getting the most out of our federal dollars. And through an increase in our families completing and qualifying for free and reduced lunch. It has taken Middleton 11 years to get to this point, but we are finally there. Every application, even if you don't think you'll qualify, helps us get closer to meeting the threshold necessary to keep the broader access to this funding. And then the final point I wanted to make is that we are currently exploring additional cost-saving measures this summer. Custodial staff, who are doing an amazing job with limited or reduced hours, have inventoried our current cleaning supply levels and are working to offset costs by using up our non-preferred products first before purchasing new ones. In addition, we purchased classroom cleaning towels to replace paper towel use for the small skills so that we can wash them and reuse them. And as always, our custodial staff have been busy fixing broken items rather than replacing them. I am pleased with the shape that the building is, given that we had a month in which we had only one custodian working in the building, and I'm very thankful to him for his work in getting us ready for the start of the school year. So thank you, everybody.
The next item is the authorization to suspend. I know if you've been around for a while and on the board, you know that this is a yearly authorization that we're required by law, RSA 193, colon 13, Roman numeral 1A. It actually requires that the board designate the school administrators with the authority to suspend. Obviously, it's something that we don't take lightly. I mean, I've spent some time this summer getting to know each other. We think very similarly about this. And having students out of the school building is something that neither of us are real comfortable with. I know it's customary for us to inform you all when a student is suspended. So it's something we don't take lightly. That said, I would like to ask the board if you would be willing to bring forward a motion to authorize it authorizes me and it authorizes Dr. Hillis, who's here this evening as well, and the designee, we were allowed to designate that responsibility, which obviously we designate Dr. So that's how that would happen, but in order for us to be able to do that, we would ask that you make a motion to authorize us, and we'll move forward from there.
I'm making a motion to authorize Scott and Catherine to suspend as AD with the agreement that they will always notify us.
Those are big ask.
Yep.
All in favor? Aye.
Very good. Well, thank you. Thank you for that confidence. With that means that I know the paper is circulating for signatures now, and we'll file that first thing tomorrow morning. With that, I will hand the microphone over to Adriana, our new business administrator, another fellow new person.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you. I look forward to working with everyone with the regional school district as well as the Middleton School District. I've been several years of business administration at both the K through 12 and higher education level. I'm excited to work with everyone. Spending a lot of time with Ivy, going over the budget and understanding the information that's in there. So I think I have a really good grasp as of right now of where we stand for the upcoming school year. The agenda item that I'm speaking to right now is Section C, food service costs. Due to the fact that food services had break even in the school year 25-26, we are not recommending any increase in school meal lunch prices. There is a tool that the New Hampshire Department of Education has released that's called the Paid Lunch Equity Tool. It uses a calculator to help you determine whether you are required to increase your school lunch prices. Based on that information, we are not required to do so, and so I'm not recommending an increase this school year. I did want to point out that school year 25-26, we increased elementary lunch by 50 cents and middle and high lunch by 25 cents, and I'm hopeful that we don't have to do that again for quite some time. Any questions on that? Not certain, moving on to financial reports, not quite certain exactly what the expectation is here. I did provide a summary recap of the fiscal year end in FY26. The operating budget is $5,563,503. Year-to-date expenditures totaled as of August 3rd, May, $5,561,523, with $28,055 still encumbered, predicting a budget deficit of $26,074. I checked that information earlier this morning, and as of right now, pending any invoices that we still have to receive and that were not encumbered, we are actually looking at a surplus of $5,562.47. That typically happens when purchase orders are closed because they're no longer needed, but they were encumbered with the expectation that the funds would be used. So kind of just giving you 0.10% of the budget went unspent this past fiscal year, which is a good thing in some ways, and also, makes things difficult and challenging in other ways.
What was that actual amount that we
As of today, a surplus of $5,562.47.
Thank you.
And again, that's pending, invoices that are still coming in. We haven't closed the fiscal year yet. It can go up or it can go down, depending on what we may receive, that hasn't been paid yet.
So we didn't have to make a second withdrawal from the special education fund?
So special education did get overspent, but because of the savings in other areas, the offset is that we do not have to necessarily make any transfers.
Do you know what the balance was in that account?
As of the time that I ran this report, special education was overspent by $119,455.
Do you know what's left in the trust though?
I do not.
Can you get me that information, just so I know? And if this will like, shoot me an email. I'm a reminder.
That's all. The more the better.
Like, I have great intentions, but sometimes I forget. Thank you.
Regarding FY27, as we know, the operating budget as approved is $6 million. As of July 31st, $478,573 had been spent and paid. $2,091,458 were encumbered, primarily wages and benefits. Very consistent with the beginning of the year, supplies are being purchased, your insurance is getting paid for the year. So there are a lot of expenses at the beginning of the year that you won't necessarily see repeating. So that's very consistent. And again, I gave you some largest budget drivers, of course, are special education, tuition and transportation, personnel, operations and utility costs, technology contracts, and just in general transportation.
Any questions?
I will pass this over for the chairperson's report.
Yeah, chairperson's report looks like donations and crowdfunding. That I think Ivy is going to take over.
I have a question of procedure for our school board to think about. So we finally have a really active PTA, and as such, they can cast a really wide net. And in looking through the policies that we have that govern donations, Middleton does not have one. And the question came up with that I had was, when a donation comes my way, like this one from the Ann Waller Foundation, I would like to say, yes, I would like that, please. But there isn't anything in writing that says that I have the authority to accept that. So I ran it by the superintendent, who suggested that this would be a good opportunity for us to discuss as a board if it's appropriate for me to accept donations on behalf of individuals who are wishing to contribute. Follow-up question for, I think, the board, which is my staff will sometimes put out wish lists, which I think is an appropriate way to help them get the materials that they need. And the PTA was looking potentially to see if there were donors available who could donate money so that we get our kids some Middleton spirit wear, because the company that we currently go through is kind of a ripoff. So I love that idea as well, but that would mean that they would have donor logos on the back of their shirts and possibly a donor logo out on the playground. So all of that was things that I didn't know if I had the authority to make the decision for. accepting donations on behalf of our school or school district. Question about crowdfunding in classrooms, as in classroom wish lists, and a question about displaying logos on t-shirts or possibly at the playground who supported our PTA and supporting our schools. Governor Whitmer has a policy on how they do all of this. So certainly, and the question I had is, do we default to their policies in the absence of our own policies? I couldn't find that written anywhere. So I don't know whether or not I should look to their policy in the interim until we have one of our own.
We do have a policy in place, a crowdfunding policy in place. I know that we also have a number of policy updates that we would suggest the board consider. Among them is a crowdfunding policy. It's kind of because it's become so complicated, particularly for those of us who have filed up a few birthdays. The technology gets ahead of me a little bit, I know, and sometimes my friends have to explain what some of the apps are, that kind of thing. So in the absence of that, one of the things that we've done is we've adopted a policy that lays out the different parameters for different types of donations and that sort of thing. I would imagine, and I know from my perspective, it's embarrassing if you run into someone in the grocery store and they say it's a wonderful thing that this donation came in and you don't know that. So we would, I have an example of the policy that Governor Wentworth has that I could certainly pass around to you anecdotally. We also have in draft a policy for you to consider the academic affairs subcommittee once you form, which I know we will talk about later. So this would be the type of thing that you could use to kind of streamline and to organize those kinds of things as they come in. We certainly appreciate there's a lot of generous people out there. We want to recognize that. So again, we share this anecdotally, but in the policy, suggested policies for consideration, you'll see a policy closely mirrors this. It comes through the Sweeney School Boards Association. It's quite well written. So, look, happy to answer questions if you have any. But
Sure.
the policy itself is like I said, in the packet, but if you want to take a look at it now.
If it's in the packet, we don't need copies.
Policy.
Yeah, only two of us have it.
Oh. Okay, then, yeah, do
Read more.
3 more, please, and thank you. What was that?
We were going to talk about it at that.
Oh, we transitioned.
Do we have to approve something now before we?
I think that would be my thought, is that we make a motion to accept this one until we can create our own.
Okay.
I don't know what anyone else thinks, but at least then we have something in place. I'll let you look at it and then we'll go from there. Are you not one of the two?
I have enough for these.
Gotcha.
Can we default to next meeting until the academic affairs committee can discuss this policy? So that's the next year. That was vote to allow the next Sunday. Right. That's what we did. No.
What is your suggestion? Should we do something in the interim?
I-
That's kind of my thought process.
And yeah, I would say
get something
it
increased.
makes sense to accept donations as they come
Right.
forward, that we are acknowledging them for the public and whatnot. You want to be upfront about that. And with the intent being
To develop our own.
the policies in place, and yeah, in the meantime, it does make sense to vote to
That's
accept.
fine, process.
Yeah.
Just have something in place.
Yeah.
Because we need mitigations.
No,
And yes, it's a time we want to move on to the next topic, and that way we can just circle back when she gets back and move it over. All right, so the next thing on our list is the Champion Child Care Program update. We're still gonna talk about this. So the Champion Child Care update is that when we submitted our updated contract with the changes made by our insurance company as well as legal, that they did say that they didn't feel that they could service us at this time. If there is enough interest, we can always circle back and I can ask them if we can consider moving forward to discuss it further over this calendar year to see if we can get something for next year. I know that there were quite a few really disappointed families, but unfortunately with all of the changes that were made, there was no way that they could do that. Whether it was a time constraint, they didn't tell me, they just said that there was just no way they could do that at this time. So if the board wants me to continue and follow up with them, I can always reach back out to them and see if there's any way to discuss things further and maybe sit down with our legal team and kind of talk things through a little bit that we have concerns about, or if we just want to leave it alone and not offer childcare.
I'm not saying that we don't need childcare here, but what if we're being dead horse with this company? Because if they're not gonna agree to what we want anyways, I don't think they're gonna turn around and agree to what we want the next time.
Well, my thing is, I don't know that it was that they didn't want to agree. They literally went through and marked up the entire contract, and they had like days to review it. So I don't know that they even looked at it, or if their attorney just went, there's no way we're going to deal with this right now. So again, I haven't talked to them again, other than when they just, said, sorry, we can't do this at this time. So I can reach back out to them and see if that's something that they want to do, or we can leave it alone and try someone else. I think what was great about this company was how involved they were in the community, and the fact that their costs were a lot, they were significantly lower than the other programs we've seen.
I'd be interested in pursuing it, in regards to having another conversation with them. I'd like to see what they would be willing to do in terms of the contract, because that contract, in their opinion, is standard, and I know a lot of the schools, the same insurance.
Yeah, it was kind of in the same place.
It's interesting to me how other schools were able to, were acceptable of that and return. So I'm just interested in if they would actually negotiate if they had time.
Yeah, that's kind of my thought.
So I kind of got a suggestion to make some of this more streamlined going forward for anybody who wants to do anything here at the school. Why don't we have our own contract designed by legal and by Primex, stating what we want. So if you wanted to come in and do business with the SAU, this is what we want you. If you can't meet this criteria, then don't waste our time. Because you guys have a lot of time going to meetings and stuff like that, chasing after this, all for naught. Okay? When something like this could have been probably a lot streamlined and easier, that this is what we want as a SAU. It protects the taxpayers, it protects the school, it protects our insurance rates, all of it. Anybody comes in and say, this is what if you want to do business with us, this is what we want. If you can't meet the obligation, then don't bother. It's a one-shot meeting, really. So I think that would be a smarter way of doing it, and that protects us going forward in the future for anybody. And it's our people making our contract the way we want it to be done. To protect.
I think my only thing is that our attorneys pulling up a childcare contract, that's not what they do. So I think for them to create a childcare contract would be a lot. And I don't know if they'd even be willing to do it because they're creating a business contract basically. Yeah, no, and I think that there's value, but I think the reality is no matter who comes in, even if we have a contract in place, they're gonna negotiate the contract. I mean, that's pretty typical. They're gonna come back and say, oh, we can't this, but, and I think if we're rigid and say we have no wiggle room and this is what we want, and a story, that we're never gonna get anyone in here. Because there's gonna be things that we don't know about childcare that they're gonna have to negotiate. I think we should come up with a different, maybe a fee agreement and work that and see if, because that was one of the things we had was what we charge to be using the space. I think that's something we can look at to see what we would charge for someone that had a childcare program here and what we would negotiate those rates to be. Because I know that's been something that's come up a few times with the last childcare that was here as well. I would just be concerned to have our legal team create a childcare contract. Number one, I don't know that they'd even be willing to do it, and I think that it's outside of their wheelhouse. It would take a lot. I think it would almost be better if we want to do contract, kind of our standard contract would be for us to create our own, like the board to look at it and have someone take that on to create a childcare contract. Kind of talk through it with Ivy, we can compare the stuff, the changes that were made in the last contract, and one of us can pull it together and then submit it to legal to look at if we wanted to come up with a contract. But I just think it's a lot of work for something that I don't know that it will ever be, and they're always gonna have their own contract. So it's up to you guys, it doesn't matter, I don't care either way. But if you guys would like, I can reach out to Champions and see if they're still willing to entertain a conversation to see if we can come to an agreement. Otherwise, we can look at other things, but I do think that Champions had a lot more to offer than even the why, like having benefits for their staff and things like that. Those are things that we weren't seeing in other childcare programs. And I really like their community involvement. Like, they were really excited. They're like, oh, you guys are going to do like a playground. Oh, wow, we want to be there. We want to volunteer our time. We want to be a part of all of this. So there were a lot that I really liked about the program. I thought they were a really great community program. But it's totally up to you guys. If you want to let it go, we can totally table childcare and not talk about it at all.
Are they the only people that offer this service?
The only big organizations in the area that I know are the Y and Champions. I don't know. Childcare is just not a thing that a lot of people get into. There's so many restrictions and stuff that it's just, especially when you're talking about these larger organizations and that was kind of the problem. So the previous childcare that was in here, they had a really hard time staffing their childcare program. They didn't have, this program has so many people in the area that they were able to really staff it and not ever have issues with their other programs with call-outs and things like that. Whereas the other program had a really hard time staying running to actually have staff to run the program.
And they would pull from the school too if they were interested.
Yeah. It's up to you guys. I think it doesn't mean anything more than you're just giving me permission to reach out to them to say, are you guys willing to entertain this conversation further to hopefully do something for next year, or are you guys out? And then that when I can bring it back to you and let you know if we need to look for something else.
I personally, I don't think we should even move it. Honestly, I don't see how, unless we have guaranteed that we can, like I said before, in the previous conversations, that unless we can guarantee that the taxpayers of this town and our insurance are immune to being sued for any capacity, have anything wrong that happens, we're immune to it. I don't see it. No, like that. I've had talked to people who have seen these contracts, and once they are co-insured, always the other company that's doing business gets a minimal amount of insurance because they know our insurance is the better of theirs, and they always go after the deepest pockets, and that would be the SAU.
So I mean, if you guys want me to reach out to the company, I can reach out to every school from here to New York and find out
going on in Farmington, I know it's like that, it's not childcare, but they had the defective screen set down there, okay? Everybody knew about it. They never fixed it, a child got hurt. The nurse went out there, picked him up, didn't do anything to mitigate the problem, okay? He called the ambulance, he didn't call nobody. And the kid had to go to the hospital the next day for head injuries. Now you don't know what's gonna happen, you just don't know. And I don't think somebody outside on the playground getting hurt or in here falling off a chair because they're playing around stuff like that and get a head injury, that's going to come from the SAU school because it's being held here. And I guarantee you, when the lawsuit goes to court, they're looking at everybody because that's how they do it. Shotgun effect. Who ends up digging in deepest pockets will be the one who pays to pay the most. That means Newton, that means the SAU, and that also means the taxpayers this town because our insurance rates are inherently going to go up again. So we're paying for it.
So I think at that point, we're saying that we don't want to have anything done in the school after hours, because I mean, that could happen no matter what, whether it's a PTO event that's a dance.
No, I'm not saying that, Rebecca. I'm just saying that we have to pick and choose what we want, only because of the fact that if we're doing our own thing internally, and it's our stuff, it's one thing because we control it, it's our insurance, and we expect that to have that option. But we're just adding more onto the possibility of that happening by having this outside, whatever. All we should be just using is providing a facility, and that's it, nothing else. Basic, just provide a facility. If they meet the criteria that we want, then fine.
Right, that's what I'm saying. You're saying you don't want to discuss it at all, that's what we're saying, is to circle back around to them and see if we can come to an agreement that we're comfortable with.
Yeah.
That's what we're asking, is the board okay with us reaching back out to them to say, can we have another discussion to see if we can come to an agreement that we're both comfortable with?
You have all this issue.
Or do we want to move on to another childcare, or do we want to have no childcare? Because it sounds like you are leaning more towards no childcare. Because of the risk, and that's fine, I'm just clarifying, it sounds like you are leaning towards no childcare.
I mean, I just don't like the idea of the risk. I really don't. I mean, never say never. I learned that way in my life. You never say never.
Well, I agree, you can never say never, you can never plan for everything. I think that the best thing we can do is we're not coming in, no matter what, whether it's this childcare or any childcare, we would be coming into an agreement unless our attorneys were comfortable with it. And the insurance company was comfortable with it, and we were comfortable with it. I think the reality is there is a significant need in this town for childcare. There is very little options for parents, and most families have to work. So I think that's my concern.
So, just devil's advocate, how many of the people who were signing up the possibility of this daycare this fall, how many of those people called up since it hasn't happened, complaining about it? It's not happening.
I don't think you had one. I've had multiple people comment online to when we posted it.
But of all the people you did a survey on, how many of those people have come back and say, what's going on with this? All of them, 1, 2?
No, we've had a lot more than 1 or 2. I just had one through the office, but we've had a lot more parents reach out that were really concerned that it wasn't going to be offered. So again, I mean, my ask is, are you guys okay with us reaching back out to see if they're willing to have a conversation to figure out if we can come to an agreement that everyone's acceptable with? Or do we want to just say absolutely no childcare? I think my concern is a lot of schools are offering childcare programs. I don't understand how this was, because they had told us it was standard. The attorneys came back. I think the big blow to them was when the insurance company gave it back to them. Every page was pretty much crossed out. I think that's when they were like, never mind, because it was interestingly marked up. So I'd like to circle back to the insurance company as well and figure out where their real concerns were, because the level of markup was astounding to me. It was literally like every paragraph. It was a lot. So it seemed interesting to me how it was marked up. Like I said, I think I'm happy to do more research as well and bring that back to you whether they're willing to talk about this or not, and call the schools in New Hampshire that have childcare and see what the risks that they've had, have there been lawsuits, have there been injuries, and just collect that data and see like what the actual risk is, because in the grand scheme of things, I think there's always a risk of anyone being injured. I mean, if this, your example of Farmington, if they knowingly had a damaged piece of equipment and they didn't repair it, then yeah, I could see them being liable. But I think the reality is that that is a completely different scenario. And there's never no risk. But we also, as a community, want to use the school as much as we can for the community. So I think anything and everything that we can do to open the doors is good for the community, to show the value of the school itself. And we always will work to mitigate risk for the community, of course.
Jody, correct me if I'm wrong. And the issue with the insurance, and maybe it's standard across, and that's just how it works, but they wanted us to add
To
them.
add them, yes, I agree with
That
that.
was, yeah.
Which we
that
thought was, I said the same thing, I said, that's interesting. So I think that's a good talking point.
Yeah.
But the other stuff, that was, I agree with that. I was like,
Otherwise, their insurance.
exactly, their insurance should cover their program, yeah.
Should be completely short on any,
Right.
and everything that they do.
So again, I don't know if there was a misunderstanding, I don't know what. So I think everything was so rushed at the end of the year last year with trying to figure out the contract and stuff. That's my thing, is I think part of their never mind was the fact that everything was so rushed. So I think if they're willing to have a conversation, we have time to talk it through to get something in place possibly for next year. So I think if everyone is okay with that, then Sam and I can reach out and see if they're willing to have further conversations. Otherwise, we can either look at other childcare programs and see what they have to offer. I think my big thing would be seeing what we saw last time with some of these smaller organizations, that they weren't able to staff it, and then they ended up closing in the middle of the year, leaving our families kind of high and dry. That's kind of what I'm looking to avoid, is having that happen to them again. So I guess I'll make a motion for Sam and I to reach out to the Champions Childcare Program to see if they are willing to have any further discussions around providing a possible childcare program in our district or at our school.
I'll send the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
But I have some similar concerns to
Yeah.
Joe, so I'll
Yeah,
be okay with the discussion, but
Yeah, I don't think you guys are alone. Sam and I don't want to propose or push anything that would put anyone at risk. Just hoping to provide the families with the services that they need to take care of their families.
Would you mind repeating the motion?
I made a motion for Sam and I to proceed and reach out to Champions Childcare to see if they were willing to have further discussions to potentially provide a childcare program. Sure, sorry. Okay, and moving into the Academic Affairs Committee.
so we have a meeting planned for next month,
September 9th.
September 9th.
What time?
5.
And it's here?
Yes.
Do we need to say anything else?
We don't have any. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, can we circle back to crowdfunding? Sorry.
Go for it.
Thanks for reminding me. We need a third one.
I've got the room when the discussion ended about the crowdfunding, and do we need a motion for me to accept the donation?
Oh, I'll
And
make a motion for you to accept the donation from the
Ann Waller.
Ann Walker Estate Foundation.
Waller, which is gonna go.
Yeah.
All right, fixing it. All right, from the Ann
follow-up question. And in the absence of a policy, I don't know if you guys, like, I don't know how this works. Am I fine to let my PTA know that they are welcome to solicit donations? I mean, I know they're a separate thing, but part of the soliciting donations would be that they would post the donors on our sign, on our fence, for the school pride wear.
I will make a motion to accept the Governor Wentworth Regional School District fundraising policy, crowdfunding policy. In the interim, we will be working to set up our own policy.
Scott, do you want to make that?
He wants to clarify.
We'll make it work. We'll make it work. Clarifying, for policy adoption, normally you need two advance reads, and then we vote to adopt it at the third subsequent meeting. So just didn't want you to run foul of that. We could adopt the procedure in the interim of that policy adoption.
Yes.
Is that what you said?
Yeah, that was what I was meaning, you just say it better.
Yeah. As long as it gets said, that means, right?
Alright, so I'm making a motion to adopt in the interim of our development of our own crowdfunding policy, the procedure of Governor Wentworth School District. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Any other questions, Eddie? Or did you get them all answered?
I feel like I do, like, a minute.
We can circle back. We'll give it back to Sierra and we'll let her do her part.
I don't have any updates for finance yet until,
Got it. When's your meeting?
we're meeting on the 28th at 10 a.m. at the SAU.
Okay, you're usually busy. What's your next public meeting? We usually meet before the next school, can you meet before?
Before 6 o'clock, so.
We will figure that out and get back. Okay. Community relations update. How many Facebook followers do we have now? Our numbers are climbing.
We're a big deal.
We are.
We have 74 followers.
We have 74 followers now on our Facebook page.
We're great, we're about.
Our popularity is growing.
And I can put a, out in my first newsletter of the year to remind people to follow both that page, our Hills on Country page, and the PTA.
Perfect. We've been working diligently to make sure that everything gets updated. And by we, I mean Sam, she does a great job with the website. All right. I think now we're moving into the next plan.
You should just go through the meeting and then
I can do it.
Here, get you through these.
All right. I'm trainable. So on the 26th of August, we have the Kingswood Regional High School Jump Start and new staff orientation. The 27th, 28th, and 31st, we have in-service days for our staff. We're back in the buildings. On the 28th, we have the middle school meet and greet. We'll see some of our Middleton friends there, I'm sure. Also on the 28th is the Middleton Elementary School meet and greet at 3 p.m. First day of school for students with late Labor Day this year is the 1st of September. Kingswood Open House for the high school is on the 3rd. The 7th is no school for Labor Day. The 8th is no school because that is the state primary and we have voting day. We have the Academic Affairs Committee meeting at 5 p.m. on the 9th, right before the next board meeting at 6 p.m. on that evening. And we also have on that date Middleton Elementary School Open House, which is the 24th for advanced planning at 5:30 p.m.
Nice work.
We will move into public input again. Anything from anyone? I don't want to not give time. I feel like I want my Jeopardy music. Excel. Is everyone good with any public comment? Questions, concerns, anything? Okay. If you change your mind, let me know, we'll come back to it. Otherwise, moving into closing comments by the board. Joe? Want your microphone?
Two. Number
I'm
one.
gonna take the microphone on 1 second.
No, the first one would be on voting day. I know what we, I know River Chives of town, we use the school for voting at one point.
I did hear that.
Can we not do that this year?
That would be my thing.
The concern he's bringing up is when we built the school, built the town for the use of the school. I think that was based off of our use policy was why we did that. Right, based off of our use, right, of the. So that was where that confusion came from. It was billed because there was overtime paid because of the janitorial costs. So I think that, yes, that would be my ask as well, is that we, maybe we're to alter our policy to have something that gets us, like voting for the town, that we don't bill them for that. But I think that's something that we should address for sure.
I think we should alter it,
Yeah.
especially for the town for budgeting.
Can we ask
School.
our policy team here to look at that policy next month so that we can get that adjusted?
I would do it, yes, please.
Yeah.
Okay, the second thing is basically, I've been looking at the cost of doing propane here in the school. And I know Governor Whitworth has been putting out the contracts on the bid, stuff like that, but I also went over to the town of Middleton and got their information as well. Right now, Middleton, the town of, the propane alone, and they've had 8,692 gallons. I paid $1.91. We locked in to Dead River for 9,000 gallons. We only used 7,000, a little over 71.17. We're getting for $1.50, 40-cent difference. Same thing. Off the record, at this point right now, I can get the propane locked in at $1.41 for the school. Okay? Now, I'm also trying to work a deal with them for the diesel and the gasoline over at the pumps as well. So this company I'm working with does that also. So next meeting like that, I'll have more firm numbers for everybody, the town and here. And if they're good enough, maybe Governor Whitworth, and they want to jump in on it too. I mean, it's up to you guys, but whatever. I'm not sure what the price is. I just know I need it for $1.41 right now.
Are we locked in a price, like, if we have a contract right now that it's gonna be a barrier to?
I'm not sure, I know we're out to bid. We can.
Maybe we can figure out by
Yeah.
the business meeting.
Yeah, great idea, yeah.
And that way, I'm working on our next meeting and stuff like that, and I can work with the town. It'll all come together more after this month, like that, whatever, but if we can lock these numbers in at that kind of a cost, it's pretty good. So, and even if you guys do your own shopping like that, and your quotes are higher than this, you can get in on this thing, I'm sure, pretty well. The more, the better off it is. So, okay? We'll just play it by ear for now, but this is basically what I said, I get some numbers and stuff like that, and that's where we're at, so. All right?
You guys negotiate on our part anyway for cost, so I don't think you need to bring it back to the board. I think you can work with them and before we lose it.
Let's hope it's a ways out, but yeah, by the 28th, we could certainly chat when we meet. Okay, great, thank you.
Thanks, Jen.
I don't know.
What you got?
I'm just looking forward to school starting.
I saved 50 cents a gallon. Yeah.
Yes. I just want to welcome Scott and Adriana.
I'll second what Sam said, and, second what I said about, thanking all the staff for all the work that they did over the summer. And also, since Bonnie's not here, the town old home touch a truck recreation event is next Friday night at the old town hall, and so just want to remind everybody. No, I got my own.
I agree. Welcome, Scott and Jen. I look forward to working with you guys. I think we are really excited for this year. I think great things are going to happen just from our conversations already. So I think it's going to be great. I will take a motion to move into non-public at 7:04.
I'll second that.
Okay, I'm making a motion.
We have to roll.
Oh.
Yes. And all in favor by roll call, Joe,
Aye.
Sierra, Stan, Kelly, Rebecca, and it is again for legal. Thank you guys for coming.